G'day again, John Down Under Tunage here in Melbourne, Australia. Finally got a bit of free time to be able to do a video or two. Yeah, we've been sort of running around chasing some records at some little record fairs and things, and doing a bit of bird watching, of course, now that the lockdown's finished here in Victoria. So yeah, with a bit of freedom, we're sort of getting out and chasing a few things that we've been looking for. Yeah, the first thing I want to say is a big thank you to Tuco at Ecstatic. Yeah, a week or so ago I got a few things in the mail. Yeah, in a recent competition of his, he had a everybody who entered his contest got a prize of 3 buttons, and yeah, so thanks very much for that, Tuco. Very much appreciated. So there's my channel profile picture. That's the first one. And of course the YouTube vinyl community member badge. So next time we're at a record fair, I'll make sure this is proudly worn. And the third one I got, which is Rip the Shrink Off, which is something that you know, I totally agree with. I don't know why people keep shrink wrap on a open record or whatever, but yeah, so that's 3 badges from Tuco. So yeah, thanks so much for that, mate. That's really kind of you to do that, because yeah, you had a lot of entries from all over the world, so that would have been yeah, it was a fair bit of logistical things to get done, so much appreciated. So thanks, Tuco. On for fines. Yeah, haven't bought much stuff like via the post or anything. Mainly this stuff is in person, but I got onto this Jesse Ware, What's Your Pleasure. This was on a recommendation from Harris Pilton. He's a British guy. Fantastic way of speaking. I love his style. I love his a lot of his music I really like as well. Like, I could sort of relate to what he's into. And he put up, this is a repress just come out. I think came out in the middle of June. And this, I got this direct from Jesse's site in England. And the original one of this goes for quite a bit of money, as Pilts had said. And so I got this one because it's like a, you know, this is sort of like standard price. It's a double. This one is a double album or double LP. Standard black vinyl, and yeah, it's a very shiny, silvery one. Yeah, the original one's a colour. It's in a colour picture of Jesse. It's the same sort of picture. And yeah, so that was a, and yeah, so this one was a good one to get. And the thing is, she actually gets played on one of the sort of indie stations here, so that was a bit of a bonus as well. So once I realised her sound and whatever, I thought, oh, that sounds familiar. So yeah, that was a recent pickup from overseas. And another one I got was Shakespeare's Sister, the Your History remix. This was a, I think, Record Store Day from 2020. It's on a red vinyl. It's a 12-inch EP. Yeah, they finally got back together a couple of years ago after like 26 years apart. So yeah, well done to the girls. And that's Your History remixes on red vinyl. Right, with the local stuff that I've been chasing, this was a grail of mine. Coup d'etat, self-titled from 86 on Mercury. For some reason, this is really, really hard to get, or generally very expensive. Like, I think the median on Discogs is over $100 Australian for this, and I've seen one in a shop at 200. But this was, yeah, thankfully not near that much. But yeah, for some reason, it's a really difficult one. Even the CD's even harder to get than the vinyl. But yeah, self-titled, Coup d'etat, local Aussie. Tina was from New Zealand, the female lead singer. So that's yeah, a happy one to find at a recent place. Yes, I was happy to pick this one up just recently. Keeping with the Aussie theme, a Spy versus Spy, Xenophobia Y. This is about 88. Yeah, Mrs. really likes Spy versus Spy. And it's sort of got a bit of a die cut cover. So yeah, that's Spy versus Spy, Aussie band. And anyone in Australia would remember this from around in about 81. This guy was huge, Billy Field. Bad Habits. He was a gravelly, raspy, sort of cabaret singer style, always immaculately dressed. Yeah, he had Bad Habits. Good Golly Me, yeah, I remember that one. But yeah, he was very, very popular and then just disappeared. I think he only had 2 albums. So that's good old Billy Field. A bit of a Bill Gates look there from 1981. Yeah, this one's pretty easy to find. It's and often pretty cheap, so that's easy one to get if you're looking for it. The other bigger one of Jenny Morris's albums. This is Shiver. I think this is 89 from memory. Yeah, she had the song She Has to Be Loved. That was probably the biggest song off this. So that was another one to add. This is an unusual sort of glammy band from the mid-70s, 76. This is Supernaut, self-titled. Yeah, a lot of these ones have got like a sort of it's a lot of laminate and it sort of comes off a bit, which this copy does, but it's pretty good otherwise. And it's a gatefold with them in there. So that's yeah, Supernaut. They're sort of glammy type band with a sort of rather intriguing song. I like it both ways, which some stations wouldn't play for I don't know why, but yeah, a bit of a quirky band for the time. And they had another song, She's Too Hot to Touch. So that's Supernaut from 76. Another band that Mrs. likes is Hunters and Collectors, and we found this is The Way to Go Out, which I think is a live from memory. And it's got the song, especially the side one, Throw Your Arms Around Me, which is like, how many people have sung that while they're drunk, I don't know, but I reckon quite a few have. So Mark Seymour and the Hunters and Collectors. The first album by the Models from 1980, and this one, Alpha Bravo Charlie Delta Echo Foxtrot Golf, all as one word. So that must be one of the longest titles of an album, I think, that is just one word. When I was looking up long titles for albums, the band Chumbawamba have apparently got the record with about 156 words as a title, but this is just the one word. So that's yeah, the Model. This is before they got popular. I don't think anything charted off this, but that was their first album from 1980. Then some non-Australian stuff we got. Yeah, this was a blind buy. Nice cheap one it was. Dislocation Dance and Midnight Shift. I think this is 83. And I think they're British, but we don't know much about them, but they just look like worth grabbing, so we grabbed it on Rough Trade. And apparently this is a white label promo, which when we looked on Discogs it isn't even listed, so that's something that I'll have to do. But that's yeah, mid 1980, midish, earlyish 1980s. So Dislocation Dance and Midnight Shift. Then got some Rebel MC album music. He was those sort of funky, dancey type bands that the British were so good at the very end of the 80s into the very early 90s. And of course, Street Tough was the main one off this. So it's Brit, Rebel MC. I found a nice copy of the Roxy Music's first album. I think this is a British one. And yeah, the guys all glammed up in there. And of course, yeah, one of the gorgeous models that Brian was known for on his album art. For what I remember, she's one of the ones that he didn't have a connection with, so that's yeah, the first one from Roxy Music. And we also got Brian Ferry, Another Time, Another Place. And once again, I think this is a Brit. Yeah, really nice gatefold. Good quality productions back then. Cat's going crazy. So that's Brian there. Some Ultravox, Monument, the soundtrack. I think one of the tracks isn't live from memory. That's like a EP. That was another one we found. This is a bit of a laugh, but why not? And that's King, which had the song where he had that song Love and Pride with the outrageous mullets, spray painted Doc Martens, poncing around a quarry, I think it was, the video. Yeah, very bright and colourful. Oh yeah, there's the footwear there. So that's, yeah, King. And the Steps in Time album. And synth classic, of course, Pleasure Principle, Gary Newman. Yeah, I've got some of his stuff on CD, but not on vinyl, so that's one we got. And some good old new wavy Adam and the Ants, the Kings of the Wild Frontier. Pretty well known album, that one. And yeah, likewise with Devo and Freedom of Choice album. Oh, I love that song, Freedom from Choice. Brilliant, really good song, and yeah, Mrs. loves it too, so we're happy to get that on vinyl. And a bit of electronica with Jean-Michel Jarre and Oxygene, with that fantastic front colour. Yeah, one of the very first cassette tapes I ever bought in about 1982 was this one. So yeah, got it on vinyl now. And a few 12 inches we got. This one is appropriate because I love the bike racing. I love watching bikes, cycling, and Tour de France is on at the moment, so I'm having a few late nights watching that. And yeah, we got Tour de France, of course, the 12 inch. This is a British copy, I think, so that was a good one to find. And a Aussie Real Life band, the band Real Life, and the 12 inch for Send Me an Angel. That was one of their biggest songs, so that's the 12 inch for that. I think this band were Canadian from memory. Trans-X and Living on Video. I remember that song when it was out. So that's a 12 inch single for that. This is good old Sabrina Salerno and Boys. This is an Australian one, and one of the few records of hers that doesn't have her prominently featured. You don't see Ms. Salerno at all in this, so that's very unusual, but still worth adding. So that's the Australian one of Boys and Sabrina. Another one of the ladies and Betty Boo, the Beatmasters, Hey DJ, We Can't Dance to the Music You're Playing. Fantastic sassy music that she used to put out. And this is a very nice sleeve from the United States. And the last couple are related in a way, and that's this one is, they're called Priority 1, and it's Still Stroking. And that nice derriere cover would have been very appropriate for one of Vinyl Richie's recent threads on, yeah, he was showing a few butts on some of his, one of his thread ideas, and yeah, this one would have been very appropriate for that. And I think this is sampled from Clarence Carter, because he had the song Stroking, and we happened to find that one as well, the 12-inch for that. That was out in the 80s. Yeah, he was a blind singer. I think he's still around and in his 80s. But this, yeah, I sort of remember this when it was out in the mid-ish 80s, I think. Yeah, Stroking. So it's you look it up. It's quite a funny song. But that's, yeah, the original from Clarence Carter. So there you go. There's the things we found at the last couple of sort of stalls and record fairs that we got out to once we got our freedom back. Yeah, so yeah, apologies for taking so long to do a video, but yeah, there's always somebody in the house and it's a bit hard to do one, so got a free day today. So for everybody that watched, thanks very much, and yeah, give another thanks to Harris Pilton for getting me onto Jessie Ware, because yeah, she's a talent, all right. So thanks, Pilt, most appreciated, mate. And for everybody who watched, thanks very much, and I'll see you again. See you later.